Hello,
Hey, Will.
everyone, and welcome to Somewhat Useful. My name is Will Myers,
And I'm Christy Price.
and on this show, we'll be discussing the topics shaping the world of digital entrepreneurship and tackling questions about Squarespace and web design. We're figuring this world out one website at a time, and hope you find this somewhat
Somewhat
useful.
useful.
And we're continuing, Christy, our
Mhm.
lives on YouTube
Mhm.
every other Wednesday at 11. So if you're listening to this on Apple or on Spotify, feel free to join us. Put it in your calendar next Wednesday. I think it's May 21st, 2025, depending on when you're listening to this. Would love to have y'all join us. Christy, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Yeah, and this is like the real behind the scenes here on the YouTube
yeah.
Live. You'll get to see all the stuff that our audio engineer Ricky cuts out for the podcast. So
Right. And it's kind of a mess sometimes, but if you're
yeah,
listening on Apple or Spotify, you're just like, wow, these two sound good. And
she
that's
makes us sound good,
makes
but
us
we have a
sound
lot of
really good.
fun. It may be messy, but it's fun.
Christy, little birdie told me, pun fully intended, that you've started Duolingo. Is that true?
I have. Yeah, I'm on my 7-day streak now. So I'm learning
10
Greek.
days.
Yeah, so I'm learning Greek slowly. So far, if you need a carrot or water or anything pink, I've got you covered.
Done. So that's kind of the basics. You got some water, you got some
Mhm.
calories. Is there a reason
Yeah.
you've chosen Greek? Why have you chosen Greek?
Oh, because I have this daydream that one day I'm going to spend at least part of the year living in Greece. I don't know if that will ever happen, but in preparation for this daydream, I'm learning a little Greek.
You know, I love that. We've mentioned going to Greece and doing something over there for a long time. Do you have any like roots in Greece, or is it just like a place? It's just a daydream.
So we went there on vacation last year and absolutely fell in love with it's just so beautiful. And like if you know me, you know the ocean, the sea, it's my happy
Yeah.
place. And that's what you got there. And it's just gorgeous.
Love it. We spent a little bit of time in Italy last year, and that was
Mhm.
wonderful. But would love to get out to Greece. Okay. Well, enough with our fantasies of living over in Europe.
Yeah.
Hot topic today.
Mhm.
Google and the DOJ over in the US. So the US Department of Justice, they're pushing to break up Google. In its proposal last year, the DOJ said Google would be forced to sell its web browser, Google Chrome, and potentially Android, a punishment for being a monopolist. Now, listen, neither one of us are lawyers or understand deeply. Maybe you do. I definitely don't. The legal complexities here. But I thought this was a good lead in.
It's like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah. But I thought this was a good lead into just the topic of browsers, because that's something we all use all the time. What are the primary browsers that you use? What do you use?
Yeah, so I am on a Mac, so you might think my primary browser would be Safari, which I do use some of the time.
Sometimes.
But my primary browser is Chrome because it has so many extensions and tools that I use for my business. And so that's where I'm always, if I'm at work, I'm in Chrome.
I find Safari really annoying to use. From a development perspective, it is terrible. I think it's awful from a development perspective. It's like really hard to get into the web, what's that area called?
The inspect tool.
The inspect tool. It's the place I live every day. It's really hard to get into that. It's really hard to move things around. It's like a little wonky sometimes on some websites. I'm just not a huge fan of Safari, and I'm the same. I use Chrome all day, every day. It's a lot easier from a development perspective, and you get all those wonderful extensions.
So, Will, what are your top 3 Chrome extensions?
Top 3. For Squarespace stuff, the Squarespace ID Finder. That's one built initially by Heather Tovey. And she did a wonderful job with it. And she has moved on to bigger and better things. And she's handed the torch of maintaining that one down to me. So I'm maintaining that one, the Squarespace ID Finder. And then there's one called Go Full Page. And it takes screenshots. It takes full page screenshots of your website. And I haven't found a better one than that. That one's just really excellent and really nice. So I've really enjoyed that. Totally free. You can download it immediately, PDF or PNG or whatever it is. And they're high quality pictures too. Like you can't upload it straight to Squarespace because it's like 20 megabytes. I mean, they're big pictures, so you have to compress them. But they're great, really good. Then the last one, I probably shouldn't even say this one because it's deprecated now, but it's called Lorem Ipsum Generator.
Oh, yeah.
It's called that. And it would easily, like in like 2 clicks, you could create however many lines of Lorem Ipsum text for just like placeholder stuff when you're building out websites. It was like 1 click and then you click another and it, boom, you automatically have like 4 paragraphs of Lorem Ipsum text or 3 paragraphs. They had this really intuitive UI for doing it, which I thought was really neat. But it is now deprecated, which I'm very sad about.
So sad.
Yeah. What about you? What are your top Chrome extensions?
So I also use the Squarespace ID Finder. Less now that we have the ability to give our sections names, but I still use it to find IDs. Go Full Page is another one that I use a lot when I'm downloading, like kind of like a backup. I take a photo or a screenshot of the website as a backup when I hand off the site. And I also use it to create website mockups, to like show the website on a device or that sort of thing. But the
brilliant for backups. I hadn't even thought about that for like, okay, I'm done. Here's a screenshot in case my client goes in and fiddles
goes a little crazy. Yeah.
It's a little wild.
Yeah. But I would say my top 3 are window resizer is one that I use a lot. So I want to see what the website will look like on a laptop versus a desktop versus a phone while I'm previewing it on my computer. So that's really handy.
How does that one work? Does it change your whole browser to something? Window resize?
No, it just changes the size of the thing that you're seeing, like relative to the space that you're in. So, whatever your monitor is, it's kind of giving it that size within the constraints of what you're working in. So it's really nice. So if you're on a laptop, you can see what a desktop view would look like. Because sometimes the spacing gets weird in Squarespace if you're working on different screen sizes. So it's handy.
That tablet view, that like in between mobile and in between desktop. There have been a couple of choice words about that. So
we pretend tablets don't exist, right? Just kidding. My other top 2 are what font. So I love to see what fonts websites are using. And so with what font, you can just click and see all the fonts on a website, which is really handy. And the other is eyedropper. So it will grab colors from a website and save them. So if you're working on something and you need a color from here, you can just click it, get the hex code, and put it into Squarespace.
That's really nice. That's a really handy one. See, this is the reason why you use Chrome over Safari. Safari, I think, has extensions. You can do it. But I've looked into it and it's very cumbersome. I'm in the process of building a Chrome extension myself, and Safari is just a nightmare. Like it's fully going to be Chrome, and there's so much more you can do with it. I really like it.
And I'm really excited for the extension you're building. It's for your Code Curious members, right? So I'm like beta testing it now, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
really cool.
It allows you to pull in code and save code and all sorts of stuff.
So far, no notes. It's amazing.
No notes. I love that. That's great. Yeah, I'm hoping to get it launched within the next like couple weeks to everyone. But yeah, it's in beta just for the Code Curious members right now. So I want to drop a couple of these stats because I love stats. In the world, so we both use Chrome, kind of go to Safari. In the world, Chrome is 66%. 66% of web usage, and Safari is 17% overall in the entire world. In the US, changes a little bit. Chrome is at about 50% and Safari is at 30%. And then Europe is closer to the world. They're 60% Chrome, 20% Safari, kind of right there in the middle. But I find this interesting. Here's a fun fact. Any browser usage on an iPhone is automatically Safari, even if you have a Chrome, even if you have the Chrome app, it's going through Safari in the back end. So that's why these numbers are a little skewed in favor of Apple, because I think a lot of those are going through. So that's just a good thing to know. If something is working on one browser, not on another, on mobile, check out Safari on desktop. It might be doing the same, having the same issues. Anyways, let's move on to some Squarespace updates.
Oh yeah.
What have you got for us?
I just know of one right now, and it is that they just rolled out header drop-down icons. So if you have a folder with pages in it, little drop-down menu in your header, you can now natively add an icon to it. So I added a little caret to the right of mine, so it looks like a drop-down now. It's There are a lot of different options, styling options, and it's a really good ad.
It is. It's just a nice, simple little ad. It's not very intrusive. I don't feel like it cumbersome, like sort of clutters the UI, but it's really easy to get in there. And they've given you like what, 16, 12 new options of different icons.
Plenty to choose from.
Plenty of new icons to choose from. Yeah, this is a great little addition. And they just kind of dropped it in.
It just surprised us, didn't it? We weren't expecting it. It's lovely.
Loved it. Okay, well, today we're going to be chatting with the wonderful Jen Maher of Nerdville. But before we bring her on, let's take a quick moment to thank our wonderful sponsor, SquareKicker.
All right. This is where I do the sponsor read. Sorry, you've got to pull it up.
we have a lot of stuff going on in the back.
Yeah, thanks so much to SquareKicker for sponsoring Somewhat Useful this season. Want to deliver exceptional Squarespace websites faster? Explore the SquareKicker template store, premium designs built for designers like you. Each template serves as a customizable foundation, reducing design time while maintaining the unique touch your clients expect. Visit squarekicker.com to learn about scaling your business with templates and get 15% off all SquareKicker products with code SOMEWHAT15. Created by expert Squarespace designers from around the world, including our guest today, Jen Maher, these templates install with just a few clicks and are fully customizable for each client's unique needs. Each template features stunning SquareKicker animations, which you can customize with the Pro extension included in your purchase. With dedicated 5-star support, you'll deliver standout websites while growing your design business.
Love us some SquareKicker.
I made it through that one.
Well done. Well done. Proud of you. We love us some SquareKicker.
Yeah, SquareKicker, they're amazing. The team there is phenomenal. And I do have to say that 5-star support is quite true. Like the best support you'll ever get.
They're a great team. Great team all around. Well, we have a wonderful guest today, Jen. Should we bring her in?
Let's bring Jen in. Hey, Jen.
Jen. Okay, I'm going to listen, this is like, I feel like we're friends. So this is like a weird introing you, but let me intro you to everyone else. Yeah. So Jen Maher is a Squarespace expert, authorized trainer, employee educator, platinum level circle member, template creator for SquareKicker, and founder of Nerdville by Jen Maher. Using her ADHD superpowers, Jen has launched 550 plus Squarespace websites and built a unique business around 90-minute virtual quick starts that deliver custom templates fast. Nerdville, her designer training program, has also evolved into an online experience where designers and DIYers can fine-tune their Squarespace skills by subscribing to her video library where they can watch Jen work. Jen, it is so good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
So happy you're here.
So weird hearing about yourself too, but yeah. And your intro it was hard not to start talking because you guys were talking about so many great things. I wanted to
What are your browsers?
Weird. I get judged for this all the time, but I think actually almost our entire team, Emma uses a Mac, but the rest of us use PCs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely a Chrome girl, but I always have Edge. That's kind of where Edge is sort of my, it's like the ugly stepchild. So it's always open, but it has like my Squarespace dumping email open on it. And like Canva, if I need to pop in and do something. So I keep that. So it's kind of tucked away and then I do everything else on Chrome. So,
well, Edge is significantly better than Internet Explorer. So I'm very, very happy with Edge. Yes. It's kind of built on the Chromium platform. So it's basically a lot of the features of Chrome. There.
Yeah. Jen, I feel like we're probably the similar demographic here. I miss Netscape Navigator from back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's such I think we've probably seen a lot, like tech come a long way and a lot of things ebb and flow. And there are definitely things that are great now, but a lot of things that I missed in the past too. And so thank you guys for not judging me for being on a PC.
No.
For us, it's like, I think honestly, it's just
not at all.
It's easy. The biggest reason I think Dre and I talk about this all the time, and this is so bad, but it's cheap. So honestly, if I can go through a new computer like every year and it's a no-brainer. I can kind of,
yeah, totally. And I'm like an Apple fanboy. I love Apple, but I've been very disappointed in Apple over the last like 4 years. It's just been like this slow evolution. I feel like they're stagnating. They're not like pushing things. They're kind of being mean to developers. So
that's not cool.
Shame on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jen, what are your top 3 Chrome extensions?
It's funny because now I'm going to have to go and check out some of the ones that I was frantically, I'm like, I didn't bring a pen anywhere near me right now.
We'll drop them in the show notes.
Yeah.
The dropper by far is, I mean, I can't, it cracks me up how often in real life I'm like thinking I need a dropper because like I use it nonstop all day long on my computer. Just, oh, that's an interesting color, or like working on an existing website, or someone gives me inspiration. I can just kind of put things together really quickly. Vimeo record, because I do use Vimeo to record all of my training videos. And so that's just really handy to have it there and get it started. Although they've done some really wonky things lately that I can't figure out the settings. It puts you into like this weird tunnel vision at first. And then, but if anyone has a way to fix that and knows, tell me, because I haven't had the time to look into it. And then, I mean, Square is not really an extension, but it's just always, I consider it to be, even though it's not a Chrome extension, it's just in every single website. I automatically put it in. It's just there. And
we'll count it.
Yeah.
We'll allow it.
Loom tool, which is also not an extension, but I can't live without the snipping tool. But now that I've heard your extension with that, I'm going to have to give that a whirl.
Yes. I'll send you a link afterwards. Loom is definitely another one I use for video recording, probably the most of anything, but it wasn't a Chrome extension. It's like a computer. It's like a Mac extension. So I didn't have it in my list, but yes, quick video recording. This is like the number one tip I could give any designer. Like, get comfortable with doing like quick little video recordings and send them to your clients. It saves so much time emailing.
If a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000 words. It just simplifies things so much.
And I know, Will, you've sent me Looms before, and Square Kicker is really good about that too with support. So it's so much faster when you just explain it to me and show me what to do really quickly, instead of me having to like actually process all the words. So I really appreciate that.
A lot of words.
Speaking of processing, Jen, you have been super open about your ADHD and how that impacts how you run your business. So I'm really curious about some tips, like how you made it a strength for you, because I know a lot of our listeners are neurodivergent and probably really interested in how you've kind of made it work for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So I actually, interestingly enough, and true to like ADHD form, I started something on my website called The Mighty Fur, and it's kind of a little video area. The Mighty Fur is a nickname that my dad used to call me when I was a little girl, and just I'm Jennifer, and then I was like his Mighty Fur, which I thought kind of went along well with like this whole idea that I'm turning it into my superpower. But in true ADHD form, I haven't put the videos on yet. So if you are, by the time the podcast is live, they'll be there. But that's kind of where I've been sharing a lot of my tips and tricks for things that I've been struggling with. But overall, I would say the biggest tip is really learning yourself. And I think this applies to neurodivergent people and people. I don't think we self-evaluate enough. And for me, I think being able to look, like doing brain dumps, doing journals, really taking stock of like, what are those moments in my work life and even in my personal life too, but like that bring me joy, or where I feel proud, or I feel successful. And then on the flip side, what are those moments where I feel ashamed, or I feel like I haven't been productive, or this isn't working for me, I'm discouraged, and start looking for patterns. Because when you start seeing those patterns, it could be the type of projects you're working on. It could be the time of day that you're working. It could be even your like diet, or how well you slept the night before. Just looking for all of those patterns, and then thinking about ways that you can, once you identify the patterns, like how can I repeat those good moments? How can I repeat those good experiences? That's what kind of turned me on to like, hey, wait, these traits are allowing me to do these great things. So they're kind of my superpower traits. And these other things are the ones that maybe I need to avoid these situations and try to work more on these types of traits that are not helping me at all. And being really honest with yourself, because I don't know about you guys, but I'm eternally lying to myself that, I can do that. I can take on another project, or I was wrong. Like I thought this was bad for me, but I really like this person. And so I'm going to take this website and I'm going to do it. And then I hate myself later, and finding people that'll be honest with you too. Emma is my biggest, like, zero tolerance for me. You know, she's like, you know this, you've evaluated your life, you know that you cannot do this. Don't do it. You're going to regret it. You're going to hate it. And she's always right. So I just have to listen to her But once you kind of get that idea, then I think it's really easy to start pulling things together. And it doesn't give you the right to not work on the things that are bad. That's why I have that mighty fur area. So that's kind of where I'm working on the areas that I feel like I need to strengthen those weaknesses, that I can really lean into. Like, we all love our wins and we don't talk about them enough, but those little tiny wins will get you, like, you're in a cycle of, hey, this is good. Let's work on, it allows you to kind of work on the other things because you're feeling more positive about yourself instead of feeling negative and like you're in this negative rut. So
yeah. How much time do you spend journaling and writing down these? Is it like daily or weekly?
No, I mean, I think I do brain dumps. I've lived on brain dumps forever. So I would say it kind of just depends on those. I think when I'm starting to feel unsettled or when I'm feeling like things aren't right clicking, then those are the moments where I'll say, like, let's sit down and write things out, kind of refigure, am I doing something wrong? Am I on? There's I've always wanted to get a tattoo, but I'm not going to get it. My husband does not love tattoos, but I was thinking about getting one. I've always wanted to get one that has like the little map sign that says you are here. Because for a long time I had it like in my car or on a bathroom mirror. It's just a way to kind of reset and be like, okay, wait, stop. Where are you right now? And is this on the path that you want to be going on? Or have you kind of deviated off? And I feel like that's sort of a good reminder to stop every once in a while when you feel like something's not right. Then you can sit down and be like, where am I off?
Yeah.
That's great.
That's really good advice.
When did you realize, like, oh, I have ADHD, and this is like, what was your process of going through sort of recognizing that and how you diagnosed it for yourself?
It's really funny because I feel like in hindsight now I should have known. I mean, I now think back to when I was a child. I'm like, how did no one know? How would you tell me this before? Especially as a teacher, because I was a kindergarten through 8th grade computers and technology teacher for 12 years. So obviously we learned a lot about autism and ADHD and neurodivergency, but it's very different in children than it is in adults. And in my professional life, I felt like I'd always been, pretty successful. I started this business, and I think that's when things started to change for me. I was like externally looking really successful, I feel like, and I was achieving things and my business was doing great, but internally I was crashing. I feel like I felt like I was failing as a human being. Like, how can I not return a phone call? How can I not, figure out a process? And I would be so hungry for like this. I love the Squarespace community for providing, like, this is my process. This is how I onboard. This is how I offboard. But nothing was working for me. And I was just, my anxiety was getting worse, like bigger and bigger and bigger. And I remember just being at my internal medicine specialist for my annual appointment and just saying, I'm kind of experiencing this anxiety. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't want to take medication, but what do you think? And he was the one that said, with women, especially adult women, ADHD often presents itself, and young girls as well. I think it's ADHD is such an internal process. So we're not running around and like can't sit in our seats most of the time. It's more of this like crazy, chaotic brain and anxiety thing. So he said, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Why don't we see which came first, the anxiety or the ADHD? He's like, I really think that you have ADHD. Let's try kind of working through that and see if it resolves the anxiety, which it completely did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It totally changed my opinion of myself. I feel like just hearing, and I'd never outwardly said things like that. I thought I was a failure as an adult, or that I was ashamed, or that I was, I had all these negative thoughts about myself and like how to work on that and how to become a better adult, better business person. And he actually kind of flat out said, I just want you to know that you're not disorganized. You're not lazy. You're not, a bad businesswoman. You're not a bad, and he basically kind of said all of these things that he just instinctively knew that I had been thinking. And I just kind of broke down and started crying and just felt such a release. And then went home with a different mindset and thought, I'm going to start learning more about this and how I can actually change it. And Omari was actually the first one that brought up the superpowers thing. So without me even thinking about it, he was like, you're doing, you're turning these things that you might have considered a weakness into a positive. And so you need to like appreciate that and focus on it. So it definitely changed my opinion. And I think that there's a lot of people out there that might not realize that, that's, if they're struggling in a certain area, it might not be your fault. And it might not be that you're a failure. It might just be that you need to approach things in a different way and kind of have a different outlook and a different experience than other people. So
I love that.
Just wanted to let you talk, because I feel like anyone listening can kind of relate to what you just said.
I don't think it's a neurotypical or neurodivergent thing at all. I think it's all of us. We all have, I mean, and I think especially in this world when we're not given like here's your handbook, here's how to be a good Squarespace designer. Kind of looking to each other. And I think that can be a great thing, but it can also be really disastrous because we're not all built the same and we don't think the same. So just because you're really successful following these processes, I'm not a failure because I can't do it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
And
one thing I've also noticed, sort of if you look at how the sausage is made, the people presenting those processes aren't always following them to the T either. So it is like there's some level of, you always have to work to your strengths. And that's why I love what you said at the beginning. You got to figure out what you're good at and focus in on that and sort of adjust use these as guideposts, starting points maybe, but they don't have to be these end all be all, follow this exactly to the T.
Yeah. And I think we're in such a bit like honestly, when you think about what we do and the opportunity that Squarespace has given us, we're at such an advantage because I can't even imagine being in a corporate world where like, no, this is the way we do it. Like you have to do it this way and your job can't change. It's so nice when I look over the past like 8-9 years that I've been doing this, how much I've been able to ebb and flow and evolve my business to meet my needs and the needs of my family. And it's pretty neat. So I think don't feel, if you're in that place where things just aren't feeling right and you're not feeling settled, and then definitely lean into it and, figure it out and feel safe doing it. Cause we have that opportunity with Squarespace.
Yeah.
Like we can be flexible. So.
And is that one of the reasons, I know you focus on like affordable websites and you're not doing like these big 10K projects. You have a real focus on the affordable websites and education. So is that part of what you found as you were, going through and thinking about what's working for you? Did that feel more aligned?
Definitely. And it's interesting because I don't think I ever intentionally set out to change this. And I don't, but I also don't think it was accidental. I almost feel like it was like a divine intervention, serendipity kind of thing. After I got my diagnosis, I just was naturally starting to learn more about myself. And I think I was starting to lean into this. Like, I enjoy doing this, so I want to do more of it kind of thing. And then Mari had made that comment. And that was what made me really stop and think, wait, he's right. I accidentally have been kind of changing my offerings. So maybe I need to be more intentional about that. And one of the things that I noticed, I struggled for a long time. I remember the first Circle Day hearing people talk about this 10K model and, having people say, you need to charge what you're worth. And like, obviously as an expert or having this experience, I should be charging more. But I was also struggling with that also comes this responsibility of being a 10K website designer. And I didn't feel like that really fit I get bored so easily. And one of the things that's, one of my biggest traits with ADHD is that I get really, really excited. I get really passionate. I hyper focus on something and I want to get it done. But at the same time, like one of my negative things is that I have time blindness. I get, bored really easily. I need that dopamine fix. I need things to change. And so if I have a website that's lasting like 3 months, I'm going to be so done with it and just not interested. And I think also the clientele that was coming in. So read your clientele. I had a lot of people that were coming in and they just needed help with smaller projects. And I was feeling fulfilled. And again, it's like that dopamine fix. Every time I get something done, then check it off the list. I'm done with this call or I'm done with this small project and I've made this person really happy. And so now I've gotten this positive reinforcement. And you can, I feel like you can earn just as much money off of smaller projects because you're just using your time a little bit more wisely.
And do you tend to do one at a time or do you kind of juggle multiple small projects at once?
That's another thing that's kind of been changing too. So I was doing Jen for a day packages. And then that was as I'm kind of evaluating and why I loved doing those as well. But another trait with ADHD is that with that hyperfixation, that hyper focus, it's fantastic because I can get an entire website done in a day and just lock in. But that also means that I'm not probably going to the restroom or eating lunch or taking a walk. So I kind of adjusted that and thought that's not healthy for me. So maybe making them into shorter appointments. So that's why I started doing those quick start sessions and the coaching help calls. So I can do, a couple of those in a day and, do that 4 or 5 times a week and make just as much money as when I was building bigger websites and they were just taking longer to build. So,
and this sounds like it's so much more fun for you, like a new problem to solve with each call, something new to think about. Yes.
And new people to meet and experiences. And
I love how you reframe that. I think that idea of charge what you're worth, because that is an idea that has been around for a while. And a lot of people have said it. And I think it was really well-meaning, but I think we're like, as humans, we're worth like millions. I mean, we're worth an incalculable amount, but then finding a way to charge that in the market is difficult. And I think it can bring some like negative feelings if you're not able to sort of match those. And I love how you sort of reframed it to be like, well, let's not do these big things. These smaller things give me more joy. And that sort of matches what my business needs as well. I love it.
I mean, we all need to make money, and like that's important to me. I have a budget I need to make, but I feel like when you, especially kind of going back to that first part, when you learn yourself and you understand your strengths and weaknesses, then I think that you can kind of look for those gaps and find ways to make it work for you, and kind of identify the places where other people maybe aren't helping them, because there are a lot of designers that are focused just on, I need to get the biggest websites, and that's great. I think that works perfect for them, but just find what works for you, I guess.
So I've heard you also mention you've advised other web designers to sort of go after low-hanging fruit in their business. What are the services, those low-hanging fruit services that have worked for you, or you've seen work for other people as well?
Yeah. Again, that goes back to kind of what you enjoy doing. And, but I feel like there's enough business to go around, everyone. I think everyone kind of that too. Certainly, I love that Squarespace for a long time was just kind of considered to be like a website builder, and you weren't seeing these big, huge 10K, big corporate websites coming in. So I do love that there's that push for that, because Squarespace really is powerful, and you can do so much design wise, and there's so many features that's great for that. And maybe this is part of the marketplace too. I feel like a lot of the people that I've met through the marketplace are DIYers that are just stuck on something. So they just need, I can't figure out, and I love problem solving. So I love when they come and say, I've got this really unique situation, and there's not a single template on Squarespace that tells me how to do this. And I don't know how to, make this work for my schedule work for my boat launch business, that, whatever, random scenarios that aren't asked. So a lot of them are that type of thing. A lot of people just want, they've put the nuts and bolts in, but they just want a design audit. They just want a little, or there's people that have been in Squarespace for a while that are learning about the features and that want help, like, how do I add on some of these powerful features, or I'm thinking about starting a course or doing merch or whatever. So and that's what's interesting. Like I've talked to a few designers recently, especially we were talking about, for some reason, it feels like things have kind of slowed down a little bit. Like we're not getting as many leads right now. And I said, these are perfect opportunities to reach out to clients that you've enjoyed working with in the past and say, hey, have you thought about using Printful? We can hop on a call for a couple of $100, and I'll help you install a Printful. Do a lot of those little things. Even if you are a full-time website designer, you can kind of reach out to your old clients and talk about some of the features that might be helping them. Like, let's start an email campaign, or.
Right. So even if you want to stick with those large ticket websites, still keep this to backfill any slower times in your business. That's wonderful. Great.
And even finding ways to adapt the different, like I used to love doing SEO work, and now I kind of hate it. A lot of people want SEO help. So I've adapted my SEO service to now I don't do SEO, but I turned my coaching calls into a 90-minute session where I help them understand the algorithm and why SEO works, and what voice search optimization is, and how to read the analytics, and how to put those so that they can do it themselves. But it's more like the kind of the sociological side of things than the actual I'm going to do the work for you. So adapt your own offerings to fit your needs too. So.
Yeah. And I think that makes so much sense with SEO, because it's never a one and done, right? It's something that they have to work at ongoing. And so to give them that opportunity to learn why things work the way they do and what they should be looking at, that's even better than just like, I'm going to optimize your site for today.
And I think a lot of designers are afraid of that, like to give power to their clients. But I personally love it. I love teaching them how to do things, because let's face it, they're not going to know how to do everything. And when you're kind of showing them, like, I'm not just here for the money, I'm here to help you. And then almost always they're coming back for something else later on, or they're referring someone else to you. And so, to me, I think don't be afraid to put the power in your client's hands.
Yeah. And I feel like that something that you and I have talked about a lot before is work-life balance. And so giving them the power and being able to say, you've got it from here, and maybe leaving a little more time for you to enjoy your life. So I know you split your time between 2 locations, and tell me more about what that looks like for you, that kind of work-life balance, and how you handle that.
Yeah, that's been another fun thing. I feel like now it's really interesting, because now that we're having this conversation, and I actually just had this thought like this actual moment. I feel like the last couple of years like Christy, we were talking about being I feel like I've been MIA and kind of like in a stalled place. But really when I'm thinking back, I'm like, no, actually I've done a lot in the last couple of years. It just hasn't been maybe as, because that has been something that I've been really working hard on, is the work-life balance. I think in America, we're kind of, and I shouldn't maybe just say America, but I feel like we're kind of eating ourselves to death. Like if you're not working from 8 to 5, then you're not a good employee, and you're not a good business person, and you're not, doing things the right way. And so for a long time, I feel like I just did that. I just got up and went to work early in the morning, and then I came home at night, and then I cooked and cleaned and everything else. And I stumbled upon, actually on the back end of a client's website, I was uploading a bunch of PDFs last year, and they had a PDF that was talking about the rule of life. And I read it, which is okay. It's not unethical because this is not there. It's actually a big concept that a lot of people talk about, but it's kind of this concept that talks about how we as like human beings we were designed to live a balanced life. We're not designed to work and go home and watch TV because we're so mentally and physically exhausted. And we need to have this balance of meaningful work that brings us joy and stimulates our brain, but also pursuing relationships and pursuing our spirituality and finding knowledge and beauty and physical work and things like that. So that's been a huge focus of mine, to sort of figure out what my perfect day would look like, and being able to like, physical was the kind of the last thing on my list. And I just started working with Taylor Lagoy with Dead Set Training to kind of work on nutrition and my physical side. But that's the last piece of the puzzle. But everything else I've been slowly working on. Like, how can I work my work day to still take advantage of my, like, when is the time of day that my brain is best turned on? And then I can go in and actually get like 4 hours of work done that used to take me 8 hours, because I'm optimizing that time and using my skills the right way. And then I can use the other time for those other places. And it's amazing how much free time we actually can have, you guys. It's crazy.
Yeah. I did a time audit because I was like, I had a lot going on, and I was like, okay, I need to get more efficient. And I did a time audit and realized, like, I thought I was working like 10 hours a day. I was really working like 6, but I was just so inefficient and like scrolling on all the social medias and all over the place. It really kind of depressed me, because I was like, how much my life has I been wasting away just like doing nothing?
Yeah. It is kind of shocking. So that's good that you did that. Was that through like a program, or like just on?
No, it was through my wife. My wife was like, you need to do a time audit. I was like, I need to hire someone to help with this. And she's like, do a time audit. Look at
I love Red.
I was like, I'm just being
She's got a good head on our shoulders. The rest of us are like, what? What's that mean? What do you
right, exactly. Well, tell us about your plans for Nerdville and the roadmap.
Nerdville on the road.
Nerdville on the road.
Yeah, so that was something I wanted to try to do in this year, and then just decided, nope, it's okay to wait. But one of the things that I've been kind of thinking a lot about is Nerdville, how much I miss having. So Nerdville, when it started off, was an actual physical location where I had a lot of other designers that were training underneath me. And it was just such a great collaborative environment. I think we were always supporting each other. I was learning from them just as much as they were learning from me. But one of the things that a lot of, like Emma has said, Drea has said, is that they learned because we were all like together watching each other and listening, and all of our processes are different. I do things totally different than, Emma does or Dre does. And I'm always learning. We're all learning from each other, I guess. So that was kind of my reasoning behind starting the Watch Me Work videos. And they're not like, if anyone decides to ever sign up for those, it's literally what my nerds got when they're in the office. So it's me sometimes like looking at a bird while I'm in the middle of working, or me rambling and trying something 5 different times and getting, frustrated, or, I think I even have on my, like, what you get with the sign up is like 1,000 awkward pictures of my face, because literally I just have random screenshots. But it made me start thinking that, like, I just really wanted to bring that. I can't bring everyone here to Nerdville. I can't bring everyone here, but there's so many people that I've talked to that have been like, can we hop on just for a day and kind of work together? Or, so having the Watch Me Work piece was like the first part of it, but I really want to start kind of going to different, we have our circle meetups, but I'd like to go and start every month picking a different location where we can actually find a place and sit for a couple of days and get as many people together as possible and work and talk about our issues. And then eventually,
sign me up.
Yeah. We like, because in Circle Day, we learn so much at Circle Day, but we're being almost like fed information directly. And I feel like I want that collaborative environment a little bit more, where we're
That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the Northeast, like I will come. Or
Yeah.
I'm just gonna follow and just wherever you end up going.
I think I'm already gonna start. Like I have all of my buddies. Like you guys are all on a list where that's gonna be my first starting point, is to go and visit all of. There's a whole tour starting, and then eventually the retreats. We talked about doing retreats before, so our place in the Baja is a great place to hold a retreat too.
That would be a blast.
Super twist my arm, Jen. Twist my arm.
Fine. Go and hang out.
I'll have that planned before Circle Day too, so we can kind of talk more about that.
Love it.
Great.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jen. Stick with us, everyone else too, because we have a few more questions for Jen. We're going to do our lightning round questions. But first, we need to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor yet again, Squarekicker, because they got so many good products. They got so many good ones. What if you could have unlimited creativity on Squarespace? The Squarekicker Pro extension gives you powerful design control with an intuitive visual UI right inside your Squarespace editor. This is what Jen was talking about earlier. It's just fantastic. It's created by designers for designers. Over 100 no-code tools empower you to customize Squarespace far beyond its native capabilities. Visit squarekicker.com for a free trial. No credit card required. I love this part. I love being able to sign up for something and just try it without having to put in my credit card information. Use the coupon code SOMEWHAT15 to get 15% off all Squarekicker products today. Supercharge your creativity with dramatic scroll effects, custom hover states, unique section layouts, and so much more. With dedicated 5-star support, you'll never face a design challenge alone. The Squarekicker team can't wait to see what you create. Love Squarekicker.
They are really great about showcasing designs made with Squarekicker too. So if you are looking to get your name out there as a designer and, play around with the plugin, see what you can create, share it with the team. Yeah.
All right, let's do our lightning round questions. Christy, you want to start us off here?
Oh, I know the answer to this one, but I'll ask it anyway. Jen, do you have any pets, and do they come to work with you?
Yes, I have Skittle. I was like, I'm trying to decide if I want to wake her up, or maybe I'll just move my computer and you can see her.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks so happy and relaxed.
We had a dog we lost a couple years ago named Hippity Hop, and Hippity Hop looks exactly like Skittle, exactly. And so Skittle holds a very special place in my heart. I love Skittle.
It is really eerie how much they looked alike. So
it really was. All right, next question. What are the top 3 tools in your tech stack? And you can take that to mean whatever you want.
Okay. Yeah. Squarekicker, obviously, that's a huge one for me. And I'm going to also embarrass myself again, like following up on the PC comment. I'm going to say that I've kind of switched over to Canva, and I rarely ever am in Illustrator or Photoshop anymore, just because I think the nature of my DIY stuff, it's so fast and it's easy to explain to my clients, like here, and just share a document with them and be like, yep, now you can go, update it whenever you want to, make it yours. So yeah, Canva is definitely in my toolbox. And then the third one actually is it's my planner. So I found a planner that really, really works well for me, that helps me. It's actually an Amazon planner. And I made my own planner that I'm trying to kind of adapt, and I'm still working on that a little bit. But this planner from Amazon allows you to look at your week ahead of time, and it has all the tasks, and then it funnels down into taking these big grand brain dump ideas and bringing them into what days of the week you want to do them in, and also to time block off your appointments and kind of help that rule of life thing where you can be like, nope, Tuesday afternoon, the weather's going to be great, so I'm going to go out for a walk or go to the zoo or whatever. So yeah, it helps me keep organized. And
I love that. Yeah. A planner. That's not even a tech tool, but it helps you get everything else focused. That's right in line with it. I love it. All right, Christy, last one. We got our last one for you.
Yes. Last one. What's the best advice you've ever received?
Okay. So this one is going to feel kind of counter, from a little bit opposite of everything that I was talking about earlier, but it's still such great advice. It's kind of talking about that, realizing your self-worth. The Picasso's napkin wisdom. Have you ever heard that before? So
I heard that from you, Jen.
Oh, yeah. It definitely is my favorite. So my husband has said that to me several times, and he actually now has found, I think it's his mission to find different variations of it. So he's constantly sending me things. But the Picasso's napkin wisdom basically is Picasso was sitting on cafe sometime. And somebody asked, I'm not going to get any of these details right, by the way, but somebody asked him to draw him a picture. He drew it on a napkin really quickly and then handed it off to the guy and then said, that's going to be $40,000. And the guy said, that took you 3 minutes. Are you kidding? $40,000. And he said, no, it took me a lifetime. So that was because I think that was one thing that I struggled with so hard in the beginning, was because I was getting fast at something. I was almost embarrassed to tell a client, like, I hyper-focused today and I got your website done. And, okay. And my husband was like, no, there's value in that. There are people that want things turned around really quickly. And you're doing good work. Maybe I could do a much deeper dive if I put extra time and energy. Yes, I could. But understanding that it's okay to be fast and it's okay to charge for that. So even my hourly rate, it's a weird mix because I'm charging $300 for my 90-minute sessions, which I have guilt about all the time. Like, oh my gosh, that's a lot of money. But
Jen, I know how much value you provide in those. Yeah.
So it's kind of that helps me. I have to remind myself of that all the time, that I'm actually giving, it's not a 90-minute session. Like, I put a lot of time to get to the place where I can do that much work in 90 minutes. So, and it's still a value, like that client is going to say, and one more quick note is that when we talk about those 10K websites too, if you have people, I feel like people ignore the $500 clients. Like, I need a website for $500. Those people, you can find a way to adapt your process to reach them and get them what they need, and they'll keep coming back over and over and over again. So, but definitely charge what you're worth. I think that was huge for me. And I have to remind myself of that all the time, that it's okay. And I can still, I guess for me, it was a way to find a creative solution to give someone something on a budget so I don't feel quite as guilty. Yeah. But I'm still charging what I'm worth because
it took a lifetime. I think that's really good. That's a great little thing. No, it took a lifetime. I really like that. Yes. Picasso has another one of my favorite quotes. It's about computers. And he says, computers are useless. They can only give you answers. And that's, Picasso is just, he was a wise.
Yeah.
He had a lot to say. That's a good one. Well, Jen, where can people find you?
So I'm on Instagram, I think, Jen Maher _ Squarespace expert, I think. And then, I've got a YouTube channel that of course I ignore, but I'm going to try to work on that. My website is jenmaher.expert. And that is where the, watch me work videos, I've kind of started putting that library, in. And I literally have 1,000 videos I just need to sit down one day and put over from Vimeo, but we'll
hyper focus day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna pick a day with my planner. I'll find a day to just schedule that to do it. But yeah, my website's a great place. Instagram.
We'll put links in the show notes down below as well.
Okay.
Jen, thank you so much for joining us today. It is such a pleasure. You're always such a bright light and just positive, and you're a wonderful, wonderful part of the Squarespace community. So
back at you guys.
So good to have you here.
We love you guys. Skittle and I love you guys. So yeah.
We love y'all.
Can't wait to see you guys in a couple of months.
Circle Day, I know.
Here we go.
And that's it for today's episode. Thank you all so much for listening. We hope you found this at least somewhat useful.
And be sure to subscribe to our podcast if you really like us, and leave us a nice little 5-star review, as this helps us grow the pod. Thanks again to our sponsor, Square Kicker. And thank you to our audio engineer, Ricky Gutton. We'll see you next time. Adios.